Hello everyone, welcome to Indian Current Affairs podcast channel. Today we are going to discussing about Indian economy. Now we are doing some MCQs on Indian economy. First question is, consider the following statements regarding the economic census. First one is, current economic census was 7th one. Second one is, it is conducted under the Capacity Development Scheme under Ministry of MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Third one is, it is done every 5 years and 7th economic census done in the year 2019. And fourth one is, the data from census will be used to develop national business register and provide information regarding formal, informal units set up throughout the India. How many of the above statements are correct? First one is only 2, second one is only 3, third one is all 4, fourth one is none. So the answer to above question is all the 4 statements are correct. So what is economic census? Similar to the population census, in India there is economic census for every 5 years. So now currently we are in 7th economic census and it is done in 2019. So what we get from this economic census? From this economic census we get how many total formal and informal units present in the India. So all the business census it is done by this economic census. Now if you see the explanation, the 7th economic census. The 7th economic census is a comprehensive survey conducted by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation in India to collect data on all establishments engaged in economic activities. It provides a detailed picture of the country's economic landscape. Key points. Purpose: to gather data on the number, size, location, ownership, industry and other characteristics of establishments in India. Scope: covers all establishments except those involved in crop production, plantation and public administration, defense and compulsory social security activities. So frequency is conducted every 5 years. So now we are going to next question. Second question is, which of the following are likely caused to cost push inflation? First one is rising crude prices in the global market. Second one is rising commodity prices. Third one is supply chain shocks. Fourth one is expansionary monetary policy. Which of the above statements are correct? Any 2. First one is any 2. Second one is any 3. Third one is all 4. Fourth one is none. So answer this question is second one. So 3 statements are correct. Which are there? 1, 2 and 3 are correct. Fourth one is wrong. So how? Now we know what is inflation. What is inflation? Inflation means increase the cost of goods when compared with the previous year. So present year cost is increases. For example, take this remote. If it is 100 rupees in previous year, now it is 110. Then inflation takes place. Similarly, inflation means given commodities cost increases when compared with the previous year. Then it is called inflation. We can divide inflation in many ways, and the rate based on depending upon the inflation rate, we can divide that one as like hyperinflation, like that. Similarly, we can classify inflation into 2 types as cost push inflation and demand pull inflation. So what's the main difference between them? So in cost push inflation, the material which are used to product that commodity are increases. By that, cost of that product increases. Then it is cost push inflation. And another one is demand pull inflation. That means if in previous year there are 100 products are sold. So this remote, if 100 remotes are sold, but now in this current year its demand is 150, but only production is 100. Then cost of this remote is increases. So that is demand pull inflation. So now consider the cost push inflation, rising crude prices. What will happen if crude prices increases? If crude oil prices are increases, then transportation cost is increases. So to deliver the raw material to the industry or factory, then it will cost high. So by that final product cost increases. So rising crude prices causes cost push inflation. Similarly, rising commodity prices. Commodity is nothing but raw material. So rising this raw material cost also causes cost push inflation. Now consider this remote itself. It is plastic made. So this plastic is 100. This raw plastic is, if it is 100 rupees in previous year, now it is 150. Automatically the product of this remote increases because of that raw materials. So similarly, next one is supply chain shocks. For example, consider the Wuhan virus. Because of Wuhan virus, we are unable to import the products, raw materials from China. Then we need to choose other countries. Then its transportation costs and all the deals need to be established newly. That's why its cost increases. So by that inflation takes place. So then it is cost inflation. And fourth one is expansionary monetary policy. We know there are two policies to control the inflation. One is monetary policy and another one is fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is done by the government. Monetary policy is done by the RBI. If consider the monetary policies, there are two types: expansionary policy, contractionary policy. What is expansionary policy? Expansionary policy is repo rates are decreases. If repo rates are decreases, then interest rates are decreases. If interest rates decreases, then every business person takes loan for cheap interest rate, then they are producers. So by that and also in every person there is lot of money because of less interest. So if there is more money in your hand, means demand for products increases. If you have more money, then demand for products increases. So this is demand pull inflation. So expansionary monetary policy causes demand pull inflation, not cost push inflation. So answer to this one is first three options are correct. Now if you see the explanation, so common types of inflation. Demand pull inflation occurs when there is excessive demand for goods and services related to supply. So this can be caused by increased government spending, consumer spending or investment. Now cost push inflation happens when the cost of production increases, leading to the higher prices. So now consider the next question. Now we go to next question. Third question is, which of the following published World Food Price Index? World Food Price Index was published by which of the following? First one is World Bank, second one is IMF, third one is FAO. So FAO means Food and Agriculture Organization. Fourth one is Niti Aayog. So answer to this question is FAO. Now see the explanation. World Food Price Index. The FAO Food Price Index is a measure of the monthly change. So it is monthly change. So every month you will get World Food Price Index. Monthly change in international prices of a basket of food commodities. It is calculated by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. It is one of the organization in United Nations. That is Food and Agriculture Organization. We have to remember this one. So next question is, consider the following statements. First one is, the stagflation is the situation of high economic growth and high inflation rate. Second one is, it is likely to be controlled with expansionary monetary policy along with tax cuts. Which of the above statements are correct? First one is only one, only two, both, none. Now if you see this one, what is stagflation? So it is a combine of two words, stagnation and inflation. So if now GDP is stagnated, so there is no much growth in GDP, but inflation is increasing, then it is called stagflation. So first statement, if you see, observe clearly, the stagflation is the situation of high economic growth. So it is wrong. It is not high economic growth. It is stagnated growth and high inflation rate. So then it is called stagflation. So in this stagflation, what will happen? It is very difficult to control the stagflation, because if you do the expansionary monetary policies, then inflation rate increases to get the growth. But what will happen? Inflation rate is increases. If you do the contractionary monetary policy, then what will happen? Growth decreases, inflation decreases. But inflation decreases we need, but growth also decreases. So it is very difficult to get out of stagflation. So during COVID, we faced this stagflation. So but most economists advise it is better to go with expansionary monetary policy along with rate cuts during the stagflation. So correct answer to this one is option 2. So only second statement is correct. So now we see the explanation. In case of stagflation, GDP growth is stagnant with increasing inflation. It is difficult situation in an economy because to increase GDP growth, we need to consider expansionary monetary policy, but it causes increase of inflation. But if we consider contractionary monetary policy to decrease the inflation, then GDP again go down. So in this situation, most experts believe that we consider expansionary monetary policy at first, and then after growth increases, we need to consider policies to decrease the inflation. So now go to the next question. Next question is, which of the following statements is true? First one, disinflation is decrease in the rate of inflation. Second one is, deflation is the decrease in the general price level of the goods and services. So now we need to classify differences between disinflation and deflation. Choose the correct option. Only one statement is correct, only two statement is correct, or both the statements correct, none of the above statements are correct. So answer to this one is both the statements is correct. So what is disinflation, what is deflation? So now consider the deflation. Now this price of this remote is 100 rupees in previous year. Now it is 95 rupees. Then it is deflation. Deflation means opposite to inflation. So cost of the product decreases here. Now what is disinflation? Disinflation means, now consider year before last year, then what will happen? It is 95 rupees. And then next year it is 150 rupees. After next year it is 160 rupees. So increasing of the inflation decreases. So firstly it is 50% increase, then it is 10% increase. So if you see the inflation rate decreases. So rate of inflation decreases in case of disinflation, but total value is decreases in case of deflation. But here still rate is increases. Now if you see the explanation, we can clearly understand what. So for example, disinflation. Disinflation means decrease in rate of change of inflation. That means in 1 year of it is 10% inflation, and then next year it is 5% inflation. Still it is inflation. Still cost is increases, but increasing cost is decreases. So 5% inflation, and then next year it is 2% of inflation. So rate is decreases. First 10, 5, 2. So rate is decreases, then it is called as disinflation. Actually governments all are trying to do disinflation. So inflation is needed. If it is in deflation, then growth is decreases. So we need inflation, but not exaggerate. So we need less inflation. So all the governments are RBI always do disinflation. So next one is, so still it is increase of cost of goods when compared with the previous year. So there is still inflation. So next one is, if the cost of the given goods decreases, then it is called deflation. For example, in past year, basket of goods are 100 rupees, now they are 95 rupees, then it is deflation. I think we understand what's the difference. Then next question is, consider the following statements regarding disinflation. So we are explained disinflation. Now again that one, some statements are there. So first statement is, the contractionary monetary policy, recession are likely to cause disinflation. Second one is, during this there will be rise in price levels of the basket of commodities. Third one is, the policy is followed sometimes by the central bankers to keep inflation in control without stifling the growth. So how many above these statements are correct? First one is only one, second one is only two, third one is all three, fourth one is none. So answer to this question is, so all the three are correct. Now see, so contractionary monetary policy. Contractionary monetary policy means repo rate is increases. If repo rate is increases, so interest rates increases. Interest rates increases, people have less money. Less money in their hands means inflation will automatically come down. So inflation rate decreases, then it is disinflation. Recession means GDP growth is negative. So now if GDP growth is decreasing, then also automatically we don't have money at that time. If there is no time, no money, then automatically inflation decreases. Then it will cause disinflation. So during contractionary monetary policy and also in case of recession, we will get disinflation. And next question is if it is disinflation also, then there is a increase of cost. I already discussed that one. So that means, price level of the basket commodities increases, but the rate of increase is less. So next third one is, I already discussed that one. So all the bankers, central bankers, all are doing to control the money in disinflation manner. Okay. So next one is, which of the following may cause suppressed inflation? So what is suppressed inflation? There are two types. If you consider how government control the inflation, then there is suppressed inflation, open inflation. So now consider the statements. First one, higher subsidies, price controls. Third one is free market economy. Choose the correct option. Option A 1 and 2, option B 1, 2, 3, option C 2 and 3, option D 1 and 3. So answer to this one is 1 and 2. So suppressed inflation means, now consider the onion prices. If onion prices are 200, if on season, then government what will do? They buy it for 200 rupees and sell to the people for 70 rupees. So they suppress the inflation. People don't feel the inflation because government do that one. So higher subsidies and price controls. Sometimes what will happen? Government controls the prices. So if they have to need to be sell at higher prices also, government don't allow that one. They mandatorily tell to sell at low prices. Then it is suppressed inflation. But in free market economy, what will happen? If there is high prices, we need to buy that one at that prices only. So there is no suppressed inflation. Then it is called open inflation. Now see the explanation. Suppressed inflation. To control inflation, if government takes any steps to reduce the actual price of goods and give them at lesser cost to people, then that inflation is called suppressed inflation. If no action is taken, then it is called open inflation. So next question is, consider the following statements. First one, reduction in LPG prices will help in controlling the inflation. Second one, the price monitoring division works under Department of Consumer Affairs. So answer to this one is, both the statements are correct. So if it is LPG cylinder cost is decreases, then production cost of any goods is decreases. So then automatically what will happen? Cost of the product decreases. So by that inflation also decreases. So next question is, next statement is the price monitoring division. So who observe this all the prices? What is the price of previous year of that product? Then before that year, who observe that one? So this price monitoring division works for that one. So it comes under Department of Consumer Affairs. It gives all the data regarding prices, how they are increasing. So now if you see the explanation, price monitoring division functions in India. The price monitoring division under the Department of Consumer Affairs in India plays a crucial role in maintaining price stability and protecting consumer interests. Here are its primary functions. Core function: price monitoring, data collection and analysis, market surveillance. Fourth one is policy recommendations and consumer protection. Now consider the next question. Which of the following are likely statements regarding the sovereign green bonds? Now consider the statements regarding sovereign green bonds. These are covered under the FAR, fully automatic route. FAR means fully automatic route. Second statement is, these are exempted from CRR. CRR means cash reserve ratio. SLR, saturation liquidity ratio. Next one is requirements. These bonds are issued at premium. Now what is sovereign green bonds? Sovereign green bond means, so there are some green projects like what if you consider the solar. Now India want to adopt solar systems. So electricity need to be produced with solar, with the help of solar or wind. So those are green projects. for that green projects, government, if you want to invest to that green projects, so government issues some sovereign green bonds. Government, not only government, private banks also issues, every bank issues. So if anyone buy that green bonds, the bank or the company or anything which issues that green bonds, they need to use them in the only projects related to sustainable projects. For that only they need to use. So now consider that one FL, fully automatic route. So if you want to invest in sovereign green bonds, we can invest that one directly without any permission, any registration. We can invest in the sovereign green bonds, and these are exempted from CRR, SLR requirements. No, if you are issuing sovereign green bonds also, we need to maintain CRR, SLR. So cash reserve ratio, SLR means saturation liquidity ratio. We need to maintain that money. So if, for example, if I issue a bond, 100 rupees bond, then I can't invest that 100 rupees in the market. I just keep the CRR. For example, it is 10%, and SLR if it is also 10%, 20%. So 20 rupees I need to keep in a liquidity form, and only 80 rupees I can invest. So that is the meaning of that one. So there is no exemption. Even though it is sovereign green bonds money, we are unable to invest all the money into the project. And third one is, these bonds are issued at premium. Premium means if it is 100 rupees bond, but bank sell to this one 1 or 2 rupees. So there is 2 rupees increasing. That is premium, because it is like sovereign green bonds, buying sovereign green bonds not for any profit. If it is 10% interest, we will get that from that bond, but actual bonds will give more, like 15% like that. But why we still bond sovereign green bond is we are like a service it is. So by buying sovereign green bonds, it will help in